You check your bank balance again. You just got paid 3 days ago. Where did it go? You feel broke. Not poor, exactly, just broke. Like the money passed through your hands without ever really being yours. You assume it's because you don't earn enough, or because you're bad with money. But the real reason is far stranger. It has almost nothing to do with how much you make. It has everything to do with how your brain was built to feel about money in the first place. Let's start with a simple question. Why does spending $20 on a coffee subscription feel painless, while paying a $20 late fee feels like a punch to the gut? Same amount, completely different feeling. In 1979, psychologists Daniel Kahneman and Amos Tversky ran a series of experiments that would eventually win Kahneman a Nobel Prize. They called it prospect theory. The discovery was simple, but it rewired how economists understood human decision-making forever. Losses hurt roughly twice as much as equivalent gains feel good. Losing $50 doesn't just cancel out the joy of finding $50. It hurts far more. Your brain isn't built to weigh money logically. It's built to avoid pain. This single bias explains an enormous amount of your financial life. Why you keep a stock you know you should sell, hoping it recovers before you have to feel the loss. Why you avoid checking your accounts after a bad spending week. Why a sale sign makes you buy something you never needed. Because your brain frames not buying it as a loss instead of a choice. But loss aversion is only the beginning. There's something else happening every time you spend, something even older than psychology. It's happening in your wallet, and you can't see it. Picture two versions of yourself walking into a store. One version is holding cash. The other is holding a credit card. Same store, same item, same price. But the version holding cash feels a small sting when handing it over. The version holding the card feels almost nothing. Researchers at MIT ran a now-famous auction experiment in 2001, led by Drazen Prelec and Duncan Simister. They auctioned identical Boston Celtics tickets to two separate groups. One group could only pay in cash. The other could only pay by credit card. The credit card group didn't just win more often. They bid, on average, about twice as much for the exact same tickets. Nothing about the tickets changed. Only the method of payment changed. And that was enough to double what people were willing to pay. This is called payment decoupling. When you pay with a card, the pain of paying gets separated from the act of buying. You get the reward immediately. You feel the cost later, buried inside a monthly statement. Disconnected from the purchase that caused it. Your brain evolved in a world without credit cards, without subscriptions, without buy now pay later apps. It evolved to track physical resources changing hands in real time. Every modern payment system was built, whether intentionally or not, to slip past that ancient tracking system entirely. So if spending feels invisible, what about saving? Surely that part is simple. Put money aside, watch it grow. But here's where money gets even stranger. In the 1930s, during the depths of the Great Depression, most people assumed the wealthy simply had more willpower, more discipline, or more luck. But an economist named Irving Fisher had already spent years studying something different. He studied how people perceive time itself when it comes to money. Human beings are wired to overvalue the present and undervalue the future. It's called hyperbolic discounting. $1 today feels dramatically more valuable to your brain than $1 next year, even if the math says they should be treated the same, even if the future dollar could grow into $2. This is why saving for retirement feels abstract, while a new pair of shoes feels urgent. Your brain isn't comparing the shoes to your retirement account. It's comparing something vivid and immediate to something distant and blurry. The distant thing always loses. Now here's where the story reframes everything you think you know about the wealthy. You might assume rich people simply resist temptation better than everyone else. But researcher and economist Richard Thaler, who later won his own Nobel Prize for behavioral economics, found something different. Wealthy individuals and disciplined savers weren't necessarily more resistant to temptation. They had usually built systems that removed the temptation entirely. Automatic transfers into savings before the money ever reaches a checking account. Investments locked into retirement accounts with penalties for early withdrawal. Structures that made the impulsive decision harder to make than the disciplined one. They weren't fighting their brain's bias toward the present. They were quietly engineering around it. This idea goes back even further than modern behavioral economics. Historians point to Benjamin Franklin, who in the 1700s famously argued that a small amount saved consistently, left untouched, would compound into massive sums over decades. Franklin understood something intuitively that Fisher would later prove mathematically. Compound growth doesn't reward intensity. It rewards patience, and patience is exactly what the human brain struggles to sustain. There's one more piece to this puzzle, and it might be the strangest one. It's not really about spending or saving at all. It's about comparison. In 1949, economist James Dusenberry introduced what he called the relative income hypothesis. His research showed that people don't judge their financial well-being based on how much they actually have. They judge it based on how much they have compared to the people around them. This is why a raise can feel disappointing if your coworkers got a bigger one. This is why moving to a wealthier neighborhood can make your same income suddenly feel insufficient. Your financial satisfaction isn't measured against your own past. It's measured against whoever happens to be standing next to you. Social media has only intensified this effect. You're no longer comparing yourself to your neighborhood or your coworkers. You're comparing yourself to curated highlight reels from thousands of people, most of whom are quietly struggling with the exact same feeling you are. So why do you always feel broke, even when your income has grown over the years? It was never really about the number in your account. It's loss aversion, making every dip feel worse than every gain feels good. It's payment decoupling, hiding the pain of spending until it's too late to stop it. It's hyperbolic discounting, making your future self feel like a stranger not worth saving for. And it's relative comparison, resetting your sense of enough every time someone nearby seems to have more. None of this means you're bad with money. It means you're human, running ancient wiring through a financial system that was never designed with that wiring in mind. You check your bank balance again. You just got paid 3 days ago. Where did it go? This time, you already know. It didn't disappear. It followed a pattern written into your brain long before you ever opened your first bank account, one your entire financial life has been quietly obeying without your permission, until now.